Hey guys, first Adam here, bringing you another Diablo 3 video on the PTR here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a quick run through of the new item for the Demon Hunter, which is the Hellcat Waistguard. This is a new belt for the Demon Hunter, and they gave it a legendary affix for grenades. If you guys watched the BlizzCon, you saw that they announced a bunch of different legendaries. So just in this video, I'll be taking a look at the belt itself and what it kind of does and damage that it can possibly output, stuff like that. I already have my Demon Hunter loaded up here. I have it equipped with a Marauder set because we'll go through it here in just a second here, exactly what the belt does, but it can really actually buff the damage of the Marauder set. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of different builds you can do with this one here. So this is the one that I've tested out that I've liked so far, that's my most favorite one, because my favorite set for the Demon Hunter is actually the Marauders. Absolutely love it. But it just kind of fell off in damage. So, the belt that we have here, I actually have it cubed. But to just kind of take a look at it, Hellcat Waistguard, your grenades have a chance to bounce up to between 3 and 5 times, because I cubed it, I get the maximum bonus here, 5 times, dealing an additional 50 damage on each bounce. Every time a grenade bounces, the damage is increased by 50%. On the very last bounce, the damage is increased by 800%, which is a god-awful amount of damage, especially when you have a ton of grenades, and I'll show you how you can actually effectively make this work here. I don't have quite the most optimal gear. I mean, I have almost perfect rolls on all my Marauder set here, but I do not. I have subpar rolls from my Bombardier's Rucksack, and I don't even have exotic, or Ancient, sorry, Ancient Manicore here. But there are other things that I can kind of roll around a little bit, but this is the best build I've come up with so far. I was able to previously, before this using this belt here, this build that I had with the current gear, the only difference is I had the helmet here for the Demon Hunter. What is it? The Visage of Goons for the increased toughness whenever I use Vengeance. But so you do lose that. Now, you could technically equip this helmet and then put the Ring of the Royal Grancer in, and then have the belt here, or just put this belt in, whichever one is better, stuff like that. But then you lose the conventional elements, which is a huge DPS boost. So, that actually might be better, because this build does lack a little bit of toughness. Now, I'm not particularly geared for toughness, so my optimal toughness is about 74 million, almost 75. But I can definitely switch out my dexterity gems if I had higher Paragon levels for, all resist or enemy fist or anything like that. But so the way I have this current setup is obviously you have custom engineering, so that way you can have up to 5 sentries out at the same time. I've been playing around with this build a little bit, trying to see exactly what would be better, but if it's better to run Thrill of the Hunt, and then run Call of the Week, or, Ambush, which one is just kind of the best. So far, this here, the build I have laid out, does the best damage, because you can activate the Call of the Week with your polar stations here, and you can activate it with the, that also activates Bane of the Trapped here. So, and the only other turret that you would probably want to have is a Spitfire, so really it just adds about another 120% damage on the turret itself, shooting out rockets, so you don't get a whole lot of damage out of it. By far, having both Call of the Week and Ambush up at the same time gives you a higher DPS than switching these two Spitfire turrets. But, so you see Evasive Fire with Focus, Cluster Arrow with Loaded Bear, sorry. Fire a cluster arrow that explodes for 850% weapon damage as fired into a series of 4 additional grenades that explode for 250% weapon damage as fire. So normally, cluster arrow does 650% weapon damage with the grenades, but you do Loaded Bear and then increase it to 850. Now, because my grenades bounce 5 times, and this sends out 4 grenades, see here, the grenades bounce 5 additional times. Every time they bounce, they do 50% increased damage, 50% more damage. So with Loaded Bear, it does 250 and each time it bounces, it adds 50% to that. So 300, 350, 450, 500, so on. And then the very last one does 800% weapon damage. So that's basically a free shot of cluster arrow, but there's 4 of them. So 4 grenades doing 800% weapon damage, plus the initial shot of cluster arrow is a lot of damage. On top of that, you have all your sentries going out at the same time. So this has the potential of doing a high damage. If I optimize my gear even more, it'd be easy. I was able to solo Greater Rift 70 fairly easy with this. The only difficult part was my toughness, a little low, so I died a few times, but the damage was there, especially when I get my conventional elements rolling on fire. You would not believe how fast. Because I have 5 turrets up, those 5 turrets, they do less damage and the cluster arrow does less damage from them as it does from mine, but still the same logic applies to them. It's gonna have increased damage per bounce and then the final explosion. So this has the capabilities of doing a lot of damage. So kind of to show this, I'm in Greater Rift 13, Rift 13 right now, Torment 13, sorry, and let's take a look. All right. So right away, let me just get to. There we go. Not the most optimal. Okay, let me try this again. So we'll see. Come across an enemy here. I mean, it pretty much one-shots anything. Yeah, the grenades do just as much damage as anything else. As the little cluster arrow shot, everything. Makes it super easy. I mean, the damage that this outputs is so nice. You see all these grenades that are bouncing. You get so many grenades. And so this is definitely not a build for speedrun. This is definitely just a high DPS build. You see all these grenades that are bouncing all over the place. It's just super nice. Really easy. Need more time. Look at that. Nice. I saw an 85 billion crit. Back in the day when this is the only sets, it's just this. I just love this set. It's just so much fun having your pets, having everything that you do out. It's just really nice. With conventional elements, that just melts anything that you have there. And the crowd control on this is amazing. So another thing that you could also do to kind of help with crowd control is switch like Ambush or Call of the Week or something to Grenadier, because this increases the damage of all grenades by 10%, increases the explosion radius by 20%. So this can actually increase your damage, but also increase the explosion radius here, helping you clear faster and quicker. Kind of get bigger clear area. And probably better clear time, because the bigger explosion radius means it's easier to have multiple grenades on the same target.
trick.
It's just a lot of fun. Definitely have, if I had better optimal gear, this would be going a lot quicker and smoother. But still, it's such a huge damage boost. I love it. Once you start getting the now this really shines on single target damage. You'll see when we get the Rift boss coming up here. But it's because once you start getting a lot of these grenades stacking, and you got 16 of them exploding for 800% weapon damage every second on top of the initial impact of your cluster arrow, I've never seen a Rift boss, even in greater Rifts, drop as quickly as this. And you see though, there's little skulls that you see shooting out. That's now the new reflect damage. The change reflect, so it doesn't just immediately affect you right away. It sends a projectile back at you. And they did lower the density of mobs in Rifts now, but they increased the density of greater Rifts as well. I can run greater Rifts much quicker now just because they increased how much experience per tile there is, and it really shows. I mean, the mob density is very consistent. I hardly ever have to go very far to actually find enemies. There are hardly any dead spots now where there's just no enemies at all. At the start of every Rift, there's always that, there's going to be a dead spot. It's called Safe Zone. It's that way for ranged characters. When you spawn in, you just don't have 2 elite packs sitting right there at the door for you. You die 10 times to them because you don't have anywhere else to run. Yeah. And also they fix shielding characters now, so if you have a shielding enemy and you kill all the other elites that can have that shielding around them, he'll drop the shield immediately. That way you don't have to sit there for, 30 seconds while you wait for the shield to wear off. Another thing I love about this build is, even though I have turrets way back there, they're still firing. I don't have to set them up on each one. But the way I have my build set up, it's best to do so that way they proc Bane of the Trapped and Call of the Peak. Got so much destruction and devastation, it's just crazy. Okay, here we go. Nice. Yeah, I mean, even though this is only T13, it's equivalent to a GR60, I believe. But yeah, so that's kind of the new Hellcat Waistguard belt. But anyway, that's really the taking a look at that belt there. I thoroughly enjoy it. I like it a lot. I'm going to be using it a lot more, especially in the Marauder set here. Plan on getting better gear, seeing how high I can actually push greater rifts. So But yeah, that's really about it for this video. More changes are going to be coming to the PTR. This is just the introductory changes. A lot more are going to be coming. They haven't introduced the armor yet or into the PTR, but it will be coming. So stay tuned for other videos. I will be running through each of the unique items on each character for all classes. So keep an eye out for those videos. And as always, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions or any ideas that you want me to try. And as always, thanks for watching.